how intense should you train? How many sets? How many reps? How heavy the weight? You know, how do you tell if I'm training hard enough? How do I tell when should I deload because I'm training too hard? How do we kind of calculate all these things? I'm going to show you a few examples. We're going to use the analogy of getting slapped in the face. We're going to use that analogy. So let's say you're getting ready for that competition, all right? And you get a training buddy to come help you, and he's going to slap you in the face to help get you prepped. Cool. We're going to take two examples. Example 1, example 2. In example 1, he's going to slap you with about 90% pure force and effort, right? And he's going to slap you anywhere between like 4 to 8 times. Cool. Let's say, for example 2, he slaps you with about 70% force. You know, still a good amount, but he's not trying to go all out and break you down, right? However, this time, he's going to slap you anywhere between 10 to 20 times, okay? As you can see, you're going to still feel, you're definitely going to feel the effects of getting slapped in the face with 90% force 4 to 8 times. You know, 90%, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 8, you're definitely going to feel it, right? The results are going to be there. You know, you're going to see the dark red handprint right across your face. And you're going to adapt either way. But 70% too. You know, again, it's not as forceful, but he's still getting a good speed in there, getting a good slap across the face. And he's doing it 10 to 20 times. So, you know, bah, 1, bah, 2, bah, 3. All right, now we're past 8, 9, 10. Go all the way up to 15. You're going to feel it. You're going to see the handprint still. Might even have some stinging going on, you know, a little bit of burning because you got slapped a bit more often. Still going to have some of the burning from there. Kind of looking pretty equal. The only difference being here is you might get a little bit more strength here, but you might get a little bit more endurance here in the skin, right? So which is better? They're both pretty good. They're both pretty effective. The only thing is over the next coming days, how does your face recover, right? With the more intense one, you might need a little more rest time. Because again, you know, he's coming in with full 90%. With the 70%, you might be able to recover just a little bit quicker, you know, because it's not as forceful, but it is still a lot to do a bit of damage. But again, just recovery. So since you got a little more force here, you might just need a little bit more rest. Where here, not as much force, still damage being incurred, but you might be able to recover a little quicker, which means you can hop right back in and hit the same area. Now, let's say you are recovering quicker. The first time your friend did this, he did it for 2 rounds or 2 sets. Let's say we did the same thing over there. Cool. When we come back to the session, to our next session, how's the face feeling? Well, here, if you're still feeling some of it, you're not feeling fully amped up and recovered yet, you might just stick with 2 sets again. Boom, still go at it, 90% force, 4 to 8 reps, you know, a few times in there, only 2 rounds. You're still gonna adapt, you're still gonna grow, because again, you're still feeling the effects from the previous one. Now let's say here, let's say you recovered a little bit quicker, you know, you feel a little bit better, you can go gung-ho again. Well, instead of 2 sets, maybe this time you try 3 sets. Or you could still stay at 2 sets, but now you do more reps. See? You can go either way with it. And then again, over the weeks, let's say you're starting to recover a little bit better here, you can either do more reps or you can add another set. You can see how this one might end up with a lot more sets a lot quicker than that one would. Does that make this better? Or does that make this one better? It's kind of a give or take. They're both going to produce results. You just might see a little more strength out of this one, where this one, this would be, you know, a little more puffiness, muscle size, muscle endurance, things like that. So again, hypertrophy. Both, again, are still going to have similar effects, similar results. They're just going to be some small, subtle differences. And then in terms of knowing, all right, well, when do I rest from my training as far as, you know, I'm pushing a little more, when do I know I'm training too much and I need to dial back? Well, that's easy. It's recovery. If you hop back into the session and you're still feeling some major soreness and just raw, you know, your face is just still torn up from the previous session, and you go into this hitting 90 again, hitting those 8 reps and those 2 sets, and now you're just, I mean, you're bleeding. You're just over the limit. Take a rest. Take a week off. Take 2 weeks off. Whatever you need. But that's how you tell. How is your joints feeling? How are your muscles feeling? Are you really ready to hit it again with that intensity, that many rounds, that many reps? Or do you feel you need a little bit of rest and kind of need to dial things back? That's literally how you tell if you need a deload or not. And the same happens over here. Is your face not recovering enough? Because now the volume's just getting so high. Pull back, relax, rest, repeat. Now this is the thing too. Let's look at, let's say like a basic 5x5, right? When everybody's first starting out in fitness, they always do, let's say, 3 sets of 12 and 4 sets of 10 and 5 sets of 5 and so on and so forth, right? Here's the problem. That's fine to start out with, you know, kind of get used to things, get the groove, get the feel for it. But as you get more advanced, the way that we can actually tell if you're training hard enough and you're going to progress is the idea of training closer and closer to the limits of what you can handle. If you're going through all 3 sets of 12, that's telling me that your first 1 to 2 sets were just kind of like warm-up slaps. You know, it's like doing 70%, and then your last set you actually did 90. Cool, that's an okay middle ground. Ideally, we want it to be, let's say, at that 90 for all 3 sets. Ideally, you're not going to hit 12, 12, and 12 all 3 sets at 90%. You know, you might get 90% for that first 12. Cool, blah, blah, blah. Now you should feel a little bit more tired. You know, you should feel a little bit more raw. So coming in with 90 again and expecting to hit 12, I don't think you've recovered enough if you actually put in the full intent into that first set. So you might go, this is where ranges come in. So you might see now someone does 3 sets of 8 to 12. So we got 12 at 90% on the first set. Second set kind of dropped down to 10. Because if we go to 12, boom, you know, your skin's going to start to rip. You're going to start to bleed. You can't handle it yet, right? And then the last set, we got about 8 at 90. Because we can tell, you know, ooh, you're really starting to feel it. Really right in the borderline of that blood coming out and the skin starting to peel, right? So in that instance, that's when we start incorporating things like, I know this is sideways, but it's easy for me to write, but basically RIR, reps in reserve. Basically, how many slaps can my face handle before the skin starts to break and bleed like crazy, right? Obviously, 10 RIR means, look, you can keep slapping me in the face about 10 more times before I even start to bleed. Where 0 RIR means you went to your absolute limit. You're bleeding now. Now it's time to call it. You know, otherwise another slap, boom, skin starts coming off. Now it's starting to get real bad. Right? If you have any questions, you need help understanding things a little bit better, you want to know how to build a workout program for yourself, just shoot me a comment. I'll reach out to you and help you out as best I can. Make sure to follow for more. Later.